let's get to that. Put this up there on the screen. Rick Scott is now explaining his, quote, strategic disagreement with Mitch McConnell over the Senate. Basically, he is upset because he says that McConnell has been, quote, trash-talking Republican candidates. In reality, here's what happened. McConnell said a very specific and not untrue thing, which is, hey, if we lose the Senate, candidate quality could be a part of that. That's it. That's basically all he said. And here's what he gave in an interview, which is a real shot across the bow. Senator McConnell and I clearly have a strategic disagreement. We have great candidates. He wants to do the same thing I do. I want to get a majority. I think it's important that we're all cheerleaders for our candidates. And it's all because of that comment that we brought you guys earlier from August when McConnell said, hey, look, it's possible. Candidate quality has a lot to do with the outcome. And what it points to is that Scott is upset because of the leaks that are coming out about his strategy. He's upset about the fact that he has been badmouthed. Also, you know, this gets to what I just referenced earlier, where we should remember that whenever Scott put out his idiotic plan to like privatize Social Security and like, raise taxes on the middle class, McConnell's the one who shot it down. Yeah. He was like, no, I have no affiliation with that. And when Rick Scott went to the podium to describe his plan, McConnell actually left the press conference to make clear, he's like, I have nothing to do with this at all. And that's exactly the feud, which is basically breaking out. Let's put this up there.
I'm sure the super yacht leak also
absolutely
he took quite personally. And that, I'm confident, came from Republicans who were like, screw this guy. We're going to get him.
Put the Hill tear sheet up there because it describes this well, as which is that McConnell has privately raised doubts for months about his party's roster of Senate candidates and the chances of recapturing control of the Senate. And those concerns apparent, Scott has begun to dig in his heels. Scott, in a lot of ways also, is penning, he wrote a new op-ed for the Washington Examiner where he accused, quote, the very people responsible for losing the Senate last cycle of trash-talking our Republican candidates. Now, first of all, the person responsible for losing the Senate last cycle, his name is Donald Trump. So, I mean, look, McConnell has something to do with it because he refused to pass the $2,000 checks. But, I mean, let's be honest, it's not like he is the sole determiner of that, and Trump had a hell of a lot to do with losing the Senate seats in Georgia.
I also don't think Rick Scott was really like upset about not passing the $2,000 checks. I'm sure he was on board with that.
What
That's
a fantastic
not his thing.
point. I didn't even think about that. I bet you, if I don't even have the time right now, but if anyone wants to go out and Google, I would be willing to bet he was on record as against the checks in the first place, or one of the people saying that, you know, we should go against it, kind of like David Perdue did until he flip-flopped whenever he was running for re-election. Just tells you what you need to know in terms of what that was politically popular at the time. So clearly, there's a lot of Washington wrangling here, but I just think overall it is a pathetic view of the mediocrity of the top echelons of the Republican Party, of the people who were supposedly such fantastic business managers and others, scamming their own voters. Meanwhile, Trump is sucking up all of the real grassroots dollars. And if you are a Republican who pretends to care about the Senate, your money is being chronically mismanaged. And if you're a Republican who supposedly hates Mitch McConnell, this mismanagement has made McConnell more powerful than ever because his super PAC is now the one that gets to dole out the real big dollars that gets to be the deciding factor in these races.
That is right. Now, one thing I want to say about the candidate quality issue, because part of why this is getting pinned on Scott is because oftentimes the Republican Senatorial Committee has gotten involved in these primaries and they have picked a candidate that they want. And I think McConnell and others thought that Rick Scott should have done that to, you know, short circuit potentially Dr. Oz or Herschel Walker or J.D. Vance or some of these other candidates who are seen as not of the highest quality.
Right.
I can't really blame Scott on that front, though, because how are you, like, I just don't think it would work to go up against whoever Trump endorses. What, the Republican base voters are going to be like, oh, but Rick Scott says that I should go for whatever that dude's name was over Dr. Oz. I don't think that he really had a choice in the matter, and he would have ended up, the Republicans would have ended up just like putting their impotence on display if they tried to go head-to-head against Trump in some of these matchups. So on that piece, again, I think the blame lies entirely with Donald Trump, and I'm not really like in the mood to defend Rick Scott now or at any point in my life, but I don't really think that part is his fault.
Absolutely correct.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.